Good morning. Today we are going to start a very important lesson, that is the principal planes and stresses. It is principal, Principal, not PLE. Okay, principal planes and stresses. This lesson is very important if you want to further study in fatigue analysis. Okay, fatigue analysis of any component of any material, here when we have to consider the crack analysis. Okay, so this lesson is very important for that. Principal planes and stresses. Till now, we have studied the normal stresses acting because of the normal forces. Okay, if the force is normal, perpendicular to the plane, yeah, because of this, the stresses which are acting, these are the normal stresses. Here, these stresses are, or their resisting forces are perpendicular to the plane. Here, these are known as the normal stresses. Okay, or when a shear force is acting on any plane, that shear force is responsible to induce the shear stresses. Here, till now we have considered that only. Normal forces are responsible to induce the normal stresses, and shear forces are responsible to induce the shear stresses. Here, but when we consider a complex stress structure, here when there is a biaxial or triaxial loading is there. In first lesson we have studied the biaxial and triaxial loading. When there is a biaxial and triaxial loading is there, here such type of loading is there. Along with, suppose some shear stresses are or shear forces are also acting on that plane. Here, the complex stresses are induced in the material. Okay. In such a complex stress structure, here it is very important to study the stresses induced on an oblique plane also. If I consider any oblique plane in that one, okay, so it is important to study the stresses induced on this different oblique plane whose inclinations are different. Okay, because whenever the maximum normal stress acting on an oblique plane or maximum shear stress acting on an oblique plane, here it is very important to study that maximum normal stress and maximum shear stress acting on an oblique plane. Okay, here if you observe that we have conducted the tensile stress, tensile test. Okay, in tensile test, suppose this is the specimen. This specimen is subjected to the axial tensile force. Okay, but when the failure takes place, here there is a neck formation, and finally the failure takes place in the form of cup and cone arrangement. Okay, the material fail in the form of cup and cone arrangement. So why the material fail in the cup and cone arrangement? Here, why the failure takes place along this inclined plane? Yes, the reason is that because of the shear stress. Here on that oblique plane, even though we are applying the normal stress here, the shear stresses are acting on that oblique plane. Because of that shear stress, here this material fail. Okay. Here the another example is that if you observe the column, here if you observe the column in your home, or if you consider the wall, this column is subjected to the compressive force. Okay. Here, sometimes now whenever a column fails, here whenever there are crack generation, here cracks are developed in a column. Here, if you observe that crack, there are different type of cracks actually. Here, sometimes the crack is vertical like this at the corner. Here, but most of the time, if you observe, here the crack is inclined. Okay, here the cracks are the inclined cracks. Here, whenever such type of inclined cracks are there in a column, here these inclined cracks are developed, or this failure is because of the shear stress. Here, this concrete is very strong in compression, but it is poor in shear if it is a concrete structure. Okay, here now when such type of cracks are developed along the inclined plane, the reason is that on this inclined plane the maximum shear stress is developed here beyond the limit, beyond the permissible limit, and because of that here this material fail along this plane only. That's why whenever such type of complex stress structure is there, yes, it is very important to study the stresses induced on this oblique plane. Okay, so first thing now you have to remember is that if there is misperception in your mind, here is if the component is subjected to only normal stress, normal force, the normal stresses are induced. Here you make it clear. Even if the component is subjected to the normal stresses as normal force, that normal force is also responsible to induce the shear stress on some inclined plane. Okay, here even if any component is subjected to the shear stress or shear force, if it is subjected to the shear force, clear, then because of the shear force also on any oblique plane, here the normal stresses are induced. The stresses are perpendicular to that plane. Here, so in such a complex stress force system, here it is very important to study the stresses induced on an oblique plane also. Okay, so that only we have to study the stresses because of this normal and shear stresses on any oblique stress or sorry oblique plane. Okay, now let's consider one component, one small part of a strain body. Here I am considering one rectangular part here of a strain body. You must have remembered that here we have considered the thin cylinder. We have studied the thin cylinder. Here at that time I told you that consider this patch of a thin shell. Consider this patch, and these are the longitudinal stresses and these are the circumferential stresses acting on that patch. Here now I am separating this patch. Okay, I am considering one small part of a strain body. Okay, so let's consider this is one small part. This is very exaggerated figure. Consider this is one small part here of a exaggerated, of a strain body, which is subjected the normal stress in x direction. These are the normal stress. Here means such type of number of stresses are there. I have shown only one. Here this is the normal stress acting in x direction, and let's denote it as a sigma x. Here this sigma x can be calculated by considering the force acting in x direction divided by this resisting area. Okay, so let this is the stress acting in x direction. Let this is the stress acting in y direction. It may be tensile, it may be compressive. I am considering it for right now, it is tensile. So this sigma x and sigma y, these are the stresses perpendicular to this plane. So these are the normal stresses acting on this plane in x and y direction. Here we are considering the biaxial loading or biaxial stress system. Now here itself I am considering that the shear stresses are also acting in this xy plane. Here this is the shear stress acting in this xy plane. Let this is tau xy, shear stress in the xy plane. Understood? If the shear stress acting in this direction, the reactive shear stress will be opposite to that. This is tau xy. Here these two shear stresses tends to rotate this component here in anti-clockwise direction. Here there may be the angular deformation in this way, isn't it? Because of these shear stresses, here the angular deformation will be like this, shown by the dotted line. Okay. Now I already told you that about the complementary shear stress. Complementary shear stress is the shear stress induced. Here that is not applied, it is by default induced. It is a complementary आता है. Okay. Here, so complementary shear stress is the shear stress acting on a plane perpendicular 90 degree. Now suppose this is the external applied shear force or the shear stress. With this shear stress, here equal amount of shear stress is induced on a plane perpendicular to that. Yeah, so ये plane इसको अगर perpendicular है, तो equal amount of shear stress induced on this plane also. Here this is tau xy. अगर ये tau xy है, तो ये tau xy. And opposite in nature. If these two stresses tends to rotate the body in anti-clockwise direction, here so this will be in the clockwise direction. Okay, here this complementary shear stress for this is on this plane. So these are the applied shear stresses, whereas these are the complementary shear stresses. Okay, and complementary shear stress हमेशा रहता ही है. यार अगर ये shear stress अगर यहाँ पे दिखाया नहीं है, अगर ये shear stress यहाँ पे दिखाया नहीं है, and if this is only the shown, here by default equal amount of shear stress is there on this plane. This you have to by default you have to assume. Here it is a complementary shear stress. वो complementary आता ही है. Okay. So let's consider this strain body. Let this is A, B, C, D. Okay. Now, because of this complementary stress structure, here I have considered the biaxial loading with a shear stress. Now, because of this because of this complex stress structure, here we have to find out here the stresses acting on this oblique plane. Let's consider this oblique plane MM, which is inclined at an angle of theta degree with horizontal. Okay, here we have to find out which type of stresses acting on this oblique plane, which is inclined at an angle of theta degree with horizontal in anti-clockwise direction. Okay. Now, on this oblique plane, here there will be some normal stress as well as there will be the shear stress. Here, let's denote it as a tau or Q also you can denote. Here, this is tau. Here, tau is the shear stress acting on this oblique plane. Sigma n is the normal stress acting on that same oblique plane, which is inclined at an angle of theta degree. Okay, we have to find out this normal and shear stresses acting on this oblique plane. Actually, these normal and shear stresses are acting because of this normal stresses acting in x and y direction as well as shear stress in the xy plane. Okay, I have considered directly the biaxial stresses with the shear stress. Here, even though here on this strain body there is only uniaxial loading, here or the stress acting only in x direction, then also on this oblique plane there will be the normal stress as well as shear stress. Okay, here, but if you derive this derivation, the same derivation you can apply for this also. You have to just substitute sigma y and tau xi equal to 0. Understood? Here, so that's why I am considering this triaxial loading or biaxial loading with shear stress only. So we have to find out here the normal and tangential stresses acting on this plane MM, which is the oblique plane, which is known as the oblique plane. Now to calculate this, here let's consider this section MM and consider the ABD of any one part. Here this plane can be here also. It is one and the same thing. Okay. Here, so if we consider the section MM and if I consider ABD of the upper part, let's consider the ABD of this upper part. Here this is the plane MM. Let it incline at an angle of theta degree and consider the ABD of the upper part. Here this is sigma y, this is sigma x, here this is tau xy, and this is the complementary shear stress tau xy. Okay, here. Now, because of these stresses, here one normal stress is in this on this plane. This is sigma n and this is the shear stress tau. Sigma n and tau are the normal stress and the shear stress. Normal stress is perpendicular to the plane. Shear stress is tangential to the plane. It is also known as a tangential stress. Okay. Now, because of these normal stresses and the shear stresses acting on these two planes, on this oblique plane, we have to calculate sigma n and tau. Here, very simple derivation. What you have to do? You have to apply the condition of equilibrium. Since this strain body, under the action of these forces, this strain body is in equilibrium. If it is in equilibrium, here each and every part, if you consider the section and if you draw the FBD, then each and every FBD will also be in equilibrium. So this part is also in equilibrium. So applying the condition of equilibrium here, here we can calculate the sigma n and tau. Okay, now this is a small particle we are considering, so no need to apply the moment condition. Summation of fx equal to 0 and summation of fy equal to 0. These two conditions are enough. Okay, remember we are applying the condition summation of fx equal to 0 and summation of fy equal to 0. These are the summation of forces, whereas all these are the stresses. Okay, now I am considering that here this mm, because I have to calculate these two. These are known. These are supposed to be known. Clear? So we have to calculate these two. So let's consider this plane along, this MM oblique plane as the x-axis and perpendicular to that y-axis. Means no need to resolve this. Clear? So you have to resolve this into two components. Similarly, you have to resolve this tau xy into two components. Similarly, this tau xy you have to resolve into two components. And the sigma x you have to resolve into two components. One is along the plane mm and other one is a perpendicular to that. Here I hope here you are comfortable with that. Okay, you know the resolution. Now you are in third year, third semester. Okay, now suppose this is sigma y. This is the plane which is perpendicular, where this component is parallel to this. If this angle is theta, this is theta. If this is theta, this will be theta. And this is sigma y into cos theta, and this is sigma x into, sigma y into sin theta. In this way, you have to resolve it in terms of sin and cos component. Okay. And if I use this condition of equilibrium, summation of fx equal to 0, listen, summation of fx equal to 0. So you have to consider this component into area. Okay, this stress into this area you have to consider. Here this is B, C, this is A. Let the width of this strain body here is unity. You can consider it as a 1. Okay, just for the calculation purpose, just for this derivation purpose. Okay, so if I consider, suppose this sigma 1 and this is BC. Here, so you can write it BC into 1 is the area into sigma y. This becomes the force, and this is the component of this force. Here into sin theta become the component along this. Okay. Here in this way you have to resolve the forces and consider the width as a 1 unity here, and you have to apply the conditions of equilibrium. Here now I am going to skip this. Here just you have to apply the condition of equilibrium and you have to simplify that. Okay, here after simplifying that, here very simple, just try. If you don't understood or if you find difficulty anywhere, just send me the peak on WhatsApp. I will let you know. Here is the difficulty. Here just imagine that the width is unity. Okay, and this length is AB, this length is BC, and let this length is CD. Okay, this, because this is sigma n into this, you have to consider. This tau into this length you have to consider. Okay, this cross-sectional area you have to consider. Okay. Now, if you apply this condition of equilibrium, here come to the point. If you apply the condition of equilibrium, summation of fx equal to 0 and summation of fy equal to 0, and if you simplify, here you will get this normal stress acting on an oblique plane. Listen to me. This normal stress acting on an oblique plane. This is stresses on oblique plane. This is a normal stress. Sigma n stands for the normal stress acting on an oblique plane. So you will observe that. Just you have to write down these two conditions and you have to simplify that. Here, these are only the two unknown. Okay, so this normal stress you will get as sigma x plus sigma y by 2 minus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 into cos 2 theta plus tau xy into sin 2 theta. Here, this gives you the normal stress acting on an oblique plane which is inclined at angle of theta degree with horizontal or with x-axis. Okay, you have to remember the formula. Okay, here you have to remember this formula. Here, this is the normal stress acting on an oblique plane. Here, simply you have to consider this FBD, apply the conditions of equilibrium, you will get that answer. Not that difficult. So what will be the normal stress acting on an oblique plane? So normal stress acting on an oblique plane is given by sigma x plus sigma y by 2 minus sigma in bracket sigma x minus sigma y by 2 into cos 2 theta plus tau xy into sin theta. Sin 2 theta. Okay, this is the normal stress acting on an oblique plane because of this stress system. Okay, now if there is one and shear stress, if you apply the second condition of equilibrium, you will get the shear stress acting on an oblique plane. Yeah, so the shear stress acting on an oblique plane is given by sigma x minus sigma y by 2 into sin theta plus tau xy into cos 2 theta. Okay, here this is the shear stress acting on an oblique plane. Just 1 minute, I made a mistake here. It is sin 2 theta. So the shear stress acting on an oblique plane is sigma x minus sigma y by 2 into sin 2 theta plus tau xy into cos 2 theta gives you the shear stress acting on the same oblique plane here, which is inclined at an angle of theta degree with horizontal. So these are the normal and tangential or shear stress acting on an oblique plane because of this stress structure. Understood? Here, just you apply the condition of equilibrium. Now, If you consider this oblique plane, listen carefully. If you consider this oblique plane, here then this is the normal stress and this is the shear stress or tangential stress. These are the normal stress and tangential stress acting on an oblique plane or any plane. Okay. Now, if I calculate the resultant stress on this oblique plane, the resultant stress on this oblique plane. Now, on this oblique plane, these are the two stresses acting, or you can say that these are the component of this resultant stress. Even here on this plane, this is the stress in y direction, this is the shear stress. Here you can calculate the resultant stress of this. This is the resultant stress acting on this plane. Okay, so let's consider this oblique plane on which sigma n is the normal stress and tau is the shear stress. Here, if I calculate the resultant of these two, here, so this becomes the resultant stress acting on an oblique plane. This is the resultant stress acting on this plane BC. Okay, and we can calculate that resultant stress equal to under, now this is a normal and this is a tangential, so they are perpendicular to each other. Yes, since they are perpendicular to each other, their resultant is given by sigma n square plus tau square. This is a resultant stress acting on an oblique plane. Okay, and what will be the direction? So let the angle made by this resultant stress with the normal reaction is phi. Here, so this tan phi can be written as it is tau upon sigma m. This is the tan phi, not theta. Tan phi equal to tau upon sigma m. Okay, now this angle phi, which is the angle made by the resultant stress with the normal stress. This angle is known as the angle of obliquity. It is known as the angle of obliquity. Here, important term. Here, so what is the angle of obliquity? The angle of obliquity is the angle made by the resultant stress on any plane. Here, if this is the resultant stress and this is the normal stress, so this angle becomes the angle of obliquity. So angle of obliquity is the angle made by the resultant stress with the normal stress on any plane. Okay, here it is having certain importance. Here, if the angle of obliquity becomes 0, what will happen? If the angle of obliquity is 90 degrees, what will happen? Okay, and coming to that point. So just remember the angle of obliquity is denoted by phi, and it is defined as the angle made by the resultant stress with the normal stress acting on any plane. And it is given by tan phi equal to tau upon sigma n. Shear stress upon the normal stress acting on that plane gives you the tangent of the angle of obliquity. Okay, yeah, so the resultant stress on a plane is under root of sigma n square plus tau square, and angle of obliquity phi equal to tan inverse of tau upon sigma n. Any doubt? Here, have you understood this concept? Here, still we have not touched the point about the principal planes and stresses. Here, this is just an elementary part. Here, how that normal and shear stresses are responsible to induce the stresses on an oblique plane. So we have calculated the stresses acting on oblique plane only. Okay, so the normal stress acting on an oblique plane is sigma x plus sigma y by 2 minus this formula, and the shear stress by this formula we can calculate. Okay, even if this shear stress is not there, only normal stresses are there, then also on this oblique plane there will be the normal stress as well as shear stress induced. Okay, here. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि सर इधर shear stress नहीं है तो इधर shear stress नहीं आएगा नहीं क्या आएगा. Yeah, that only we have to study in this lesson. Even sometimes here any component is subjected to only normal stresses, that normal stresses are also responsible to induce the shear stress. Or if any component which is subjected to only shear stresses here, so that even that shear stresses are also responsible to induce the direct or normal stresses on an oblique plane. Okay, वही study करने का है हम लोगों को. Okay, any doubt? Okay, now let's consider the next part. Let's consider this is one strain body. The stress in x direction is sigma x, normal stress in x direction. Normal stress in y direction is sigma y. This is the shear stress tau xy in xy plane, reactive shear stress, active, reactive, and this is complementary. Now, in this strain body, if I consider one plane which is inclined at angle of theta degree, where on this plane there is a normal stress as well as there is a shear stress. These are the normal and shear stress acting on this plane which is inclined at angle of theta degree, which we can calculate by using this formula. Okay. Similarly, if I consider one another plane whose angle of inclination is different, अगर angle of inclination different हो गया, so even if this stress system is same, but if there is a different plane, if the angle of inclination is different, the normal stress and the tangential stress acting on this plane will also be different. Okay, here means this normal stress and tangential stress acting on an oblique plane are depend on the inclination of that plane. Here, if we change the inclination, here the magnitude of the normal and tangential stress will also change. Okay. Now, on this strain body, I can consider the number of planes of different inclination. I can consider the number of planes of different inclination. Understood? Yes, since inclination of each plane is different, the normal and tangential stresses, magnitude of the normal and tangential stresses acting on each plane will also be different. Understood? Here, now remember, even if these applied stresses are same, here in this plane body, out of this number of planes, here there is one plane, इसमें से एक plane ऐसा है, here on which the shear stress acting is zero. Here, ये number of plane में से एक plane ऐसा है, here जिसपे shear stress zero रहता है. Okay, because shear stress is a function of this theta. As the theta varies, the shear stress is also varies. Okay, here, so in that strain body, there is one plane here on which the shear stress is zero. Okay, so this plane is very important plane. Here, so the plane, the oblique plane on which the shear stress is zero, here that plane is known as a principal plane. And it is not necessary that the principal plane is always a oblique plane or inclined plane. It may be vertical or horizontal also. Yeah. So if anybody asks you what is mean by principal plane, so simple definition: the principal plane is the plane in a strain body on which there is no shear stress. Here, if in a strain body there is one plane on which the shear stress is zero, here the plane on which there is no shear stress, that plane is known as a principal plane. Okay, so in this body, if I observe that because of this stress structure, let's consider this is one plane. This is one plane on which the shear stress is zero. इस पे shear stress zero है, clear? But the normal stress will be there. There will be a normal stress. Understood? Yeah. So the plane on which the shear stress is zero, here, then that plane is known as a principal plane. And the normal stress acting on a principal plane are known as a principal stress. Okay, here, so what is the principal plane? The plane in a strain body on which there is no shear stress. Okay, here number of planes I have considered. Okay, उसमें से एक प्लेन है जिसपे shear stress zero है. Here that plane is known as a principal plane, and principal plane on which there is a normal stress, here this normal stress acting on a principal plane are known as the principal stresses. Understood? Clear? So don't say that in oral if we ask the student what is principal plane, yes, so student answer ki sir, the plane which carries the principal stresses are known as the principal plane. And then what is the principal? Answer is correct. Okay, here, but what is the principal stress then? And the stress which the normal stress act on a principal plane are known as the principal stresses. Here, so you write, you tell the answer properly. Here, this answer is not wrong. Okay, but to be more precise, the principal plane is a plane here on which there is no shear stress. The principal plane is a plane on which there is no shear stress, and the normal stress acting on that plane is known as the principal stress. Okay, now in this strain body, अगर ये plane है यार जिसपे shear stress 0 नहीं है और उस पे नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस भी है, मतलब उस पे shear stress है और नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस भी है, तो ये प्रिंसिपल प्लेन नहीं है. Neither these are the principal stresses. Okay, so the principal plane is a plane on which there is no shear stress, is known as a principal plane, and the normal stress acting on that principal plane is known as a principal stress. Okay, now in this strain body, listen carefully. In this strain body, if this is the plane, here let this angle is suppose θ1, on which the shear stress is 0, on which the shear stress is 0. Can you tell me the another plane on which the shear stress is 0 apart from this plane? One more plane will be there जिसपे shear stress 0 रहेगा. Can you tell me which is that plane? वो प्लेन कौन सा होगा जिसपे shear stress
normal to that
plane? Why I want that particular word? Why? Who said normal to that? Your answer is correct. Okay, but give me the reason. My answer is that, my question is that this is the plane on which the shear stress is 0. Yeah, but in this strain body there is one more plane on which the shear stress is 0. यार उस पे एक दूसरा प्लेन रहेगा जिसका इंक्लिनेशन अलग रहेगा देन दिस θ1, जिसपे shear stress 0 होगा. वो प्लेन कहां पे होगा? Somebody said that कि उसको नॉर्मल रहेगा. Answer is correct. Give me the reason. क्यों?
कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री shear stress 0 होगा.
Correct, right. Okay, तो इस पे अगर shear stress 0 है तो I already told you that clear. किसी एक प्लेन पे अगर कुछ shear stress है तो equal amount of shear stress is automatically induce होता है दूसरे एक प्लेन पे. That plane is known as a complementary plane, and that shear stress is known as a complementary shear stress. Clear? So इस पे जितना भी shear stress होगा, equal amount of shear stress is induced on a plane which is perpendicular to that. Clear? Which is known as a complementary shear. Okay? तो इस पे अगर shear stress tau है, तो equal amount of shear stress will induce on a plane which is perpendicular to that. इसको perpendicular जो plane रहेगा, clear? तो इसका इंक्लिनेशन रहेगा 90 प्लस θ1. या तो इस पे भी shear stress 0 रहेगा. तो ये भी बन गया प्रिंसिपल प्लेन. अंडरस्टूड? यार तो एक प्रिंसिपल प्लेन का इंक्लिनेशन अगर θ1 है तो दूसरे का इंक्लिनेशन कितना होगा? 90 प्लस θ1 होगा, बिकॉज दैट इज अ कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री प्लेन हो गया उसका. अंडरस्टूड डेस? दिस इज ऑल्सो द प्रिंसिपल प्लेन, दिस इज ऑल्सो द प्रिंसिपल प्लेन. ओके, ये समझ में आया क्या आपको? इज दैट क्लियर? अगर एक प्रिंसिपल प्लेन का इंक्लिनेशन अगर θ1 है तो दूसरे प्लेन प्रिंसिपल प्लेन का इंक्लिनेशन कितना होगा? लेट डिनोट इट एज θ2, सो दैट विल बी θ1 प्लस 90 डिग्री. ओके, यार एनी डाउट? Have understood this? Okay, now the question is how to calculate this normal stress acting on a principal plane. So it is also known as a principal stress. Here, how to calculate this normal stress acting on a principal plane or principal stress? Here, that is our question. Here, is that clear कि principal stress बोलते किसको है? वो clear हो गया क्या? Any doubt in that one? Okay, और ये principal stresses दो प्लेन पे क्यों इंड्यूस होते हैं वो समझ में आया क्या? Which are mutually perpendicular to each other.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, how to calculate that principal stress? यार कौन सा भी एक इंक्लाइन प्लेन अगर कंसीडर करता हूं मैं, कौन सा भी इंक्लाइन प्लेन, which is inclined at angle of theta degree, जिसपे shear stress भी है और normal stress भी है. So you know how to calculate the normal and tangential stress acting on an oblique plane which is inclined at any angle theta. Here, this formulas you know. These are the normal and tangential stresses acting on any plane inclined at an angle of theta. Okay, here, but the principal plane is different. Principal plane is the plane on which the shear stress is 0. So पहले हम लोगों को उसका लोकेशन फाइंड आउट करने का है, इंक्लिनेशन, एंड फिर वो प्लेन पे नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस कितना एक्ट होता है वो फाइंड आउट करने का है. क्लियर? Okay. Now, listen. This is the oblique plane which is inclined at an angle of theta degree with horizontal on which the shear stress and normal stresses are also acting. Now, in this plane body, there is one plane here on which the shear stress is 0. Okay, here this is one plane on which the shear stress is 0. मुझे इसका location find out करने का है. Here, now, and this plane on which the shear stress is 0 is known as the principal plane. So I can write down for principal plane. Principal plane shear stress is equal to 0. Now I have the general formula of the shear stress acting on any inclined plane. Here, if I equate it with 0 and if I simplify this, here I'm not going to simplify, you refer any book how to simplify this, just a simple mathematics, not that difficult. Okay, if I equate it with 0, here I will get the theta which gives you the location or position of the principal plane. Here, so how to get the position, concept kya hai, how to get the position of the principal plane? Here you have to equate the shear stress equation here with 0. This is the shear stress acting on any oblique plane, inclined at angle of theta. अगर मैं इसको 0 के साथ equate करता हूं, तो I will get the theta which gives you the position of the principal plane. Here, and position of the principal plane is given by, it is tan 2 theta equal to, here it is minus 2 times xy upon sigma x minus sigma y. यार ये फार्मूला कहां से आया? तो ये टाउ का इक्वेशन 0 से इक्वेट करके सिंप्लीफाई किया तो ये फार्मूला आ जाएगा. अंडरस्टूड? यार टाइप योर होप. So this tan 2 theta is equal to minus in bracket 2 times tau xy upon sigma x minus sigma y, gives you the position of the principal plane. This theta gives you the inclination of the principal plane. Here, first answer, let's denote it as a theta 1. This is the first inclination of the principal plane, and another principal plane, here a complementary plane भी रहेगा जिसपे shear stress और 0 रहेगा, which is perpendicular to that. Here, so let's denote it as a theta 2, which is equal to theta 1 plus 90. So these are the position of the principal plane, which are mutually perpendicular to each other. Understood? Here, then suppose this is the principal plane and its inclination is theta 1. ये उसको परपेंडिकुलर जो प्लेन रहेगा, that is also another principal plane whose inclination with the horizontal is theta 1 plus 90 degree, जिसको हम लोग theta 2 बोलेंगे. Okay, now if I substitute this theta 1, which is the inclination of this plane on which the shear stress is 0, if I substitute this value of theta 1 in this formula, this is a normal stress acting on any oblique plane which is inclined at angle of theta. If I substitute this theta 1 in this formula, here this sigma n becomes the principal stress. Principal stress is nothing but the normal stress acting on a plane on which the shear stress is 0. That is known as the principal plane. Sorry, that is known as the principal stress. Okay, here. So if I substitute this theta 1 in this formula, here I will get the normal stress on this plane on which the shear stress is 0. So that is the principal stress. Similarly, if I calculate substitute this theta 2 in this formula, I will get the another normal stress which is acting on another principal plane. Okay, if I substitute this and if I simplify, here I will get the value of the principal stresses. Here it is sigma n1 and sigma n2. एक को डिनोट किया मैंने sigma n1 से, दूसरे को डिनोट करता हूँ sigma n2 से. One is sigma n1, another is sigma n2. If you substitute theta 1, you will get sigma n1. If you substitute theta 2, you will get sigma n2. Okay, so these are the two different principal stresses acting on two principal planes. Clear? अभी ये दोनों में से sigma n1 और sigma n2, I can't say directly right now, but दोनों में से here one value will be greater, one will be smaller. Clear? So the greater value जो रहेगा, that is known as a major principal stress. major principal stress, and other one is known as a minor principal stress. Minor principal stress. Here one is a major, other one is a minor. Okay. Here right now I can't say that sir ye theta1 pe major principal play stress. Okay. One is known as a major principal stress and other one is a minor principal stress. Clear? The principal plane which carries the major principal stress is known as a major principal plane. It is the major principal plane. And the plane which carries the minor principal stress is known as a minor principal plane. Okay, so two principal planes are there. One is a major principal plane, other one is a minor principal plane. The normal stress acting on the major principal plane is known as a major principal stress, and other one is a minor principal stress. Name itself indicates that major is a stress which is having the more magnitude, maximum magnitude, and minor is that principal stress which is having the less magnitude. Okay. Now I can't say that, sir. So if anybody asks you और ask me कि सर मेजर प्रिंसिपल प्लेन का पोजीशन थीटा1 पे ही आएगा या माइनर प्रिंसिपल प्लेन का पोजीशन थीटा2 पे ही आएगा, दैट आई कांट से. ओके, थीटा1 पे भी माइनर या मेजर कुछ भी आ सकता है, इधर भी कुछ भी आ सकता है. उसके लिए आपको ये थीटा1 का वैल्यू इसमें सब्स्टिट्यूट करना पड़ेगा और थीटा2 का भी वैल्यू इसमें सब्स्टिट्यूट करना पड़ेगा. एंड लेट कैलकुलेट दिस सिग्मा n1 एंड सिग्मा n2 सेपरेटली हियर, एंड फ्रॉम दैट वन इसमें से जो दो मैक्सिमम रहेगा, क्लियर, यू कैन से दैट इज द normal major principal stress and the minor principal stress. Okay, from this one you can get the exact location कि major principal plane theta1 पे रहेगा या theta2 पे रहेगा. Okay, clear? So this is the position of the principal plane. You will get theta1 and theta2. If you substitute that theta1 in this formula, you will get the principal stress. Okay, so if you simplify this, here this is the formula for the principal stress. Sigma n1 comma sigma n2. एक ही इसमें लिखा. When you consider it as a plus, then it is a major principal stress. When you consider it as a minus, then it is a minor principal stress. Clear? But again, we can't say that कि सर ये major theta1 पे आएगा या theta2 पे आएगा. Magnitude मिल जाएगा. Clear? But to get the clear understanding, this theta1 you have to substitute in this formula to get the value of sigma n1 and sigma n2 separately. Okay. Here एग्जाम में अगर क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं डायरेक्टली कैलकुलेट द प्रिंसिपल स्ट्रेसेस, हियर जस्ट कैलकुलेट सिग्मा n1 एंड सिग्मा n2, दोनों यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट. ओके, एंड इट्स पोजीशन ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल प्लेन, जस्ट कैलकुलेट थीटा1 एंड थीटा2, दैट्स ऑल. हियर विद हेल्प ऑफ दिस यू कैन गेट द थीटा1 हियर एंड थीटा2 इज थीटा1 प्लस 90 डिग्री. हियर एनी डाउट? हैव अंडरस्टूड द कांसेप्ट? हैव अंडरस्टूड द कांसेप्ट?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is major principal stress? First, what is principal plane? Then what is principal stress? Major principal stress, minor principal stress, major principal plane, minor principal plane, all these things. Okay. So in oral, if I ask you what is principal plane, so don't answer ki sir plane which carries the principal stress is known as the principal plane. Yes, the precise answer is the plane which do not carry any shear stress, the plane on which the shear stress is 0 is known as the principal plane. And the normal stress acting on the principal plane is known as the principal plane. ये जो principal stresses है, these are always the normal stresses. Understood? Yeah. अभी इसका आंसर पॉजिटिव भी आ सकता है, नेगेटिव भी आ सकता है. पॉजिटिव है तो इट इज टेंसाइल इन नेचर, नेगेटिव है तो इट इज कंप्रेसिव इन नेचर. ओके, हियर नेक्स्ट. Now in this strain body we can consider the number of planes. जैसे एक प्लेन है जिसपे shear stress 0 है, वैसे ही इसमें से एक प्लेन ऐसा भी है यार जिसपे shear stress maximum है. Here there is one plane on which the shear stress is maximum, and if the component is weaker in the shearing, here if the shear strength of the material is poor, here then normally this material fail along this plane which carries the maximum shear stress. क्लियर। इसके लिए जो कंक्रीट को क्रैक पड़ते हैं, जो इंक्लाइन क्रैक पड़ते हैं, क्यों? क्योंकि दिस इज द प्लेन विच कैरीज द मैक्सिमम शियर स्ट्रेस एंड द कंक्रीट इज पुअर इन शियर। क्लियर। सो वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट द पोजीशन ऑफ दैट प्लेन, ऑब्लिक प्लेन, ऑन विच द शियर स्ट्रेस इज मैक्सिमम। वो पोजीशन मतलब अगेन वो इंक्लिनेशन ही हो गया। Here and this inclination we are going to denote it as a theta 3. Let theta 3 is the inclination of a plane which carries the maximum shear stress. Here, listen once again. In this strain body, here on which these different type of stresses are acting, if I consider the number of planes, here इसमें से एक प्लेन है जिसपे shear stress 0 है, तो वो बन गया प्रिंसिपल प्लेन। क्लियर। वो कैसे फाइंड आउट करने का, उसका क्या सिग्निफिकेंस है, सब हमने डिस्कस कर लिया। Similarly, in this number of planes, here there is one plane on which there is no on which the maximum shear stress is acting. Here, and this plane here on which the shear stress is maximum here is known as a plane of maximum shear. Here, it is the plane of maximum shear. It is the plane on which the maximum shear stress induced. Now, the first thing is that how to calculate the position of this plane on which the shear stress is maximum. Now, again come back to this. Now we know that this is the shear stress acting on any inclined plane, which is the function of theta. अगर theta change होता है तो tau का value भी change हो जाएगा, isn't it? Clear? So this tau is a function of this angle theta. Okay. Now I have to find out this theta here for which this function is maximum. मतलब मुझे मिल जाएगा position, inclination of the plane मुझे मिल जाएगा। I'll get the position of that plane which carries the maximum shear stress. Clear? कैसा करना पड़ेगा? Simple, normal mathematics. अगर ये इक्वेशन है यार, उसमें से मुझे टाउ मैक्स कैलकुलेट करने का है और उसका पोजीशन कैलकुलेट करने का है। कैसे करेंगे? क्या करेंगे? जनरल मैथमेटिक्स। We have the general formula of the shear stress acting on an oblique plane in terms of theta. Theta is the inclination of that oblique plane. Okay.
Differentiate equal to 0.
Good. Okay. So to find out that maximum position of the maximum shear stress, here we have the general formula of the shear stress here. So differentiate this shear stress with respect to theta and equate it with 0. इसको differentiate करो and equate it with 0. If you equate it with 0, you will get theta. This is the position of the plane which carries the maximum shear stress. And if you substitute this theta in this formula or in this equation, here जो tau मिलेगा, that will be the maximum. Understood? This is the concept. Yeah, that derivation means this differentiate this and equate it with 0. आपको theta मिल जाएगा. If you substitute that theta in this equation, you will get the tau max. Here, this is the concept. This is the position of the plane which carries the maximum shear, and this is the magnitude of the maximum shear. Understood? Here, so this differentiation and all these things you have to do here because it will consume a lot of time again over here. Yeah. So if I differentiate it with respect to theta and equate it with 0, here you will get the theta position of the plane which carries the maximum shear. Here, so position of the plane which carries the maximum shear. Here that formula comes tan 2 theta equal to sigma x minus sigma y upon 2 tau xy. Here this theta gives you the position of the plane carries the maximum shear. Okay. Here एक आंसर आएगा theta 3. अभी again same thing. If this is one plane inclined at an angle of theta degree which carries the maximum shear stress. अगर इस पे maximum shear stress है, कितना भी रहने दो, वो maximum है. Here, so another plane which will be perpendicular to that will also carry the equal amount of shear stress, means which will also be a maximum, which is a complementary. Here either दिखाओ. It is a complementary shear stress here whose inclination will be how much? Theta 3 plus 90. So if I denote this as a theta 4, then this will be theta 3 plus 90. Okay. So there are again two mutually perpendicular planes which carries the maximum shear stress. Okay. Here, so if we denote, this is the formula to calculate that. If one answer is theta 3, the other one is theta 3 plus 90 degree. Here in exam you are supposed to calculate both. Here, if our descriptive type of normal exam is there, then you have to calculate both the shear stresses. Clear? अभी MCQ में अगर पूछेंगे, clear, एक simple question देंगे and find out it may ask find out the angle made by the plane which carries the maximum shear. ओके, मतलब आपको ये इंक्लिनेशन फाइंड आउट करने का है और ऑप्शन में ये θ4 ही दिया रहेगा, θ3 दिया ही नहीं रहेगा। क्लियर? जब आप ये फार्मूला में वैल्यूज डालेंगे तो आपको ये θ3 आएगा। क्लियर? और देखेंगे तो सर इसमें तो ऑप्शन है ही नहीं θ3 का। क्लियर? तो θ4 इज आल्सो अनदर प्लेन व्हिच कैरीज द मैक्सिमम शियर स्ट्रेस। ओके, क्लियर? सो बोथ आंसर्स आर रिक्वायर्ड। क्लियर? Now, if I substitute this θ3 or θ4 in this general formula of the tau, here you will get the maximum shear stress. So, this maximum shear stress is plus minus half into under root of sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 2 tau xy whole square. I'll send a list of these formulas and theories to you directly on your WhatsApp. Okay. So this tau max equal to plus minus half into under root of sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 2 tau xy square. This gives you the maximum shear stress. Now here again there is a plus and minus. Here लेकिन यहाँ पे plus and minus doesn't mean that one is a major and other one is minor. इसमें दोनों plane पे same value आएगा shear stress का, because it is a complementary shear stress. Here only the thing is that if it is plus means it is in anti-clockwise direction, it tends to rotate the body. Here because of that shear stress the angular deformation is in anti-clockwise direction, और अगर minus है तो it tends to rotate the body in clockwise direction. Here so these are minus, these are plus. This tends to rotate the body in anti-clockwise direction, so plus. This shear stress is plus, this shear stress is minus. I want to tell you that sign convention also here, but have you understood this? Any doubt? Second thing, if you calculate, now here I have calculated the maximum shear stress in terms of this sigma x, sigma y and tau xy. Similarly, we can modify that and we can calculate the maximum shear stress in terms of in terms of principal stresses also. If you calculate the shear stress in terms of principal stresses, clear? So the maximum shear stress in terms of principal stress is given by major principal stress minus minor principal stress upon 2. This gives you the maximum shear stress in terms of principal stresses. This formula is also valid, this is also valid. Okay, in fact this formula we have used to calculate the maximum shear stress in the thin cylindrical shell, if you are remembering. Here I told you that in case of the thin shell, if I consider this patch here, so this sigma L and this sigma C, which are mutually perpendicular stresses, and the plane on which this longitudinal stress is acting, similarly the plane on which this circumferential stress is acting, on this plane no shear stress is acting. अगर ये प्लेन पे shear stress act नहीं होता है तो this become the principal stresses. Here on that plane, if there is no shear stress, clear, so that become the principal stresses. So in this thin cylindrical shell, ये जो sigma C और sigma L है, these are the principal stresses itself. Here and on this strain body, here there is one plane which carries the maximum shear stress. This is the oblique plane which carries the maximum shear stress. Here, so this maximum shear stress here in case of a thin cylindrical shell, here we have written as sigma C minus sigma L upon 2. ये formula use किया था, which was in terms of principal stresses. Okay, so in case of the thin cylindrical shell, that circumferential stress and the longitudinal stress, here both are the principal stresses. Remember, because वो जो प्लेन पे एक्ट होता है वो प्लेन पे shear stress एक्ट नहीं होता है. Yeah, that's why that become the principal stresses. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? Have you understood the concept? Have you understood the concept? Yes. Can you answer the questions now? What is principal plane? What is principal stress? Major principal plane, minor principal plane, major principal stress, minor principal stress, shear stress क्या है, and all these things. So is that clear? To solve the sum is very simple. Okay, here just you have to put the value and get the answer. only you should know the basic theory. Just put the value and get the answer. But while solving the sum, one last point, while solving the sum for the strain body, these are the normal stress in x direction, this is the normal stress in y direction, and this is the shear stress in xy plane. इतना दिखा है तो भी चलेगा, ये कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री पे नहीं दिखा है तो भी चलेगा. Okay. Now, while using this formula to calculate the principal stress, principal plane, maximum shear stress, here the plane carries the maximum shear stress. You have to calculate all these things. You have to use the sign convention for that. ये जब derive किया था तो ये ऐसा assume किया था कि both normal stresses are tensile. Yeah. So remember here, if the normal stress is tensile, you have to consider it positive. Here, if it is compressive, you have to take it negative. Means for this strain body, here if you are using this formula, sigma x is positive, whereas the sigma y is compressive. So this value you have to take negative here. Okay. And for shear stress, for tau, here if it is anti-clockwise, tau in xy plane, if it is anti-clockwise, consider it positive, and clockwise negative. Next important thing is that all these formulas are derived. Assume that this oblique plane makes an angle of theta degree with horizontal only. Oblique plane makes an angle of theta degree with horizontal only. Okay. So remember one thing. अगर आपको ये formula ऐसा का ऐसा use करने का है तो always consider that the inclination of the plane is with horizontal only. अगर किसी बुक में अगर inclination of the plane with vertical दिया है तो उसके अकॉर्डिंगली अगर डेरिवेशन किया है तो जिधर साइन है उधर कॉस आएगा, जिधर कॉस है उधर साइन आएगा. अंडरस्टूड? अदरवाइज इफ यू रेफर दैट बुक एंड इफ यू क्रॉस चेक दिस फॉर्मूलाज विद दैट, यू मे से दैट कि सर ने सब फार्मूला रॉन्ग दे दिया है. ओके, क्लियर? सो इट इज द डिफरेंस ऑफ दिस एंगल. Here we have always considered that the angle made by that inclined plane is with horizontal. That's why these are the formulas. Next important thing is that for considering the angle, it is with horizontal, and angle, when this angle is measured in anti-clockwise direction, it is considered as positive, and when it measured in clockwise direction, you have to consider it negative. Here, if you measure it in clockwise direction, it is negative, and if you measure it in anti-clockwise direction with respect to x-axis, you have to consider it as positive. Okay, these are the sign conventions which you have to follow. Last point is that, listen, in this strain body, if this is the plane on which the shear stress is 0, तो ये बन जाता है principal plane, and the normal stress acting on a principal plane is known as a principal stress. मतलब principal stress जो plane पे act होता है, here on which the shear stress is 0, but here the plane which carries the maximum shear stress, इस पे normal stress 0 नहीं होता है. Here इस पे normal stress 0 नहीं होता है. On this one also there will be some normal stress. Even though that plane carries the maximum shear stress, उस पे भी कुछ normal stress रहेगा. Clear? So अगर if you want to calculate that normal stress on a plane which carries the maximum shear stress, normal stress on a plane which carries the maximum shear stress, अगर ये आपको normal stress calculate करने का है, तो how you can calculate that? Here, find out the position of the plane which carries the maximum shear stress. Means you have to calculate this theta 3. Substitute this theta 3 in this formula, you will get the normal stress on this plane which carries the maximum shear stress. Understood? Any doubt? Okay. Thank you. We'll stop here. Here tomorrow, I will solve at the most one question here, and because it is just put the value and get the answer. Next important thing which I am going to teach you in the next lecture is the Mohr circle. Mohr circle. Mohr circle is what? Actually, it is a graphical method to solve the sum of principal planes and stresses. Clear? ये जो principal stress, position of the plane carries the principal, position of the principal plane, then plane carries the maximum shear stress, या magnitude of the maximum shear stress. ये जो हम लोग ने फार्मूला यूज करके सॉल्व किया है, the same calculation we can do by graphical method also. So that graphical method for finding the principal plane, principal stress, plane carrying the maximum shear stress and the magnitude of the maximum shear stress, here that graphical method is known as the Mohr circle. Mohr is one scientist here who invented that graphical method. That's why it is known as the Mohr circle. Okay, it is a circular in which you have to draw a circle. What will be its radius and what is the procedure, that I will explain you in the next lecture. Clear? So that is the Mohr circle, which is the graphical method to solve the sum of principal planes and stresses. Clear? We'll learn it in tomorrow's lecture. Okay, thank you.
Hello, sir. Hello.